play it all or nothing. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Poker right on the grass, we coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
Welcome to Takeover. As you can see, we are back. So we're back at home. So this is Takeover from the crib. It feels like y'all like this a little bit more than when we were actually together for some reason, views-wise. So I guess we're just going to roll with it. And make sure you like and subscribe. And you guys might not even have a choice right now because you probably don't have gas. So, you know, Josh DeAndre, how are you guys doing?
Man, I am living the dream. Back at home working for money, forgetting how little I get paid for as much work as I do. Fun.
I'm doing pretty good, you know. Playoffs about to start. I'm ready to see how that turns out. So I'm doing good.
Well, that is solid to hear. But to open up, we're going to talk a little bit NFL. The draft has now settled. We've seen who the teams, who guys we had picked up. So, which team, in your guys' opinion, won the draft overall? Which team do you guys think had the best players and overall got better?
So I think the Chicago Bears had a really impressive draft. They really took their time and they were really confident with their picks. They moved up and they were able to get Fields at the 11th pick. And how often do we see a quarterback at Justin Fields' caliber at number 11? So evidently it really paid off for them. He's a mobile quarterback, accurate, and he has speed as well. And many people really were very critical of the fact that they traded away some picks and able to make them move up. But they got some pieces back from the draft and they added to their depth. You have Tevin Jenkins. They traded up to get him as well. He really filled the tackle position. He's good against the run game and pass protection. And you just look at his relative strength and size. You have Larry Borum. He's very versatile. He can play the offensive tackle, but he could also play the guard as well, and he's a good run blocker. Daz Newsome, he's a creative route runner. He has good hands, and he's good to run after the catch as well. You have Thomas Graham. To me, in my opinion, he was a steal in the 7th round. You're adding another big body to that already good defense, and he's a good pass rusher. And when you have a team that already had good wide receivers and already had a good defense, and you add Justin Fields, someone who's mobile and who's really accurate, and if Matt Nagy allows him to actually play to his strengths and doing the complete opposite of what he did with Trubisky, then I really think this team has a chance to be very successful in the future.
Solid pick. I like the Bears draft. The only reason that I don't say that they won this draft is because they had their first round, second round pick, and then they didn't pick again until the 5th round. So to me, I think volume has to come into consideration when it comes to who won the draft, which is why I personally am looking at the Carolina Panthers as my personal winner. And maybe this is because I believe in Sam Darnold a little bit more than the average person does. I think he was screwed over by the Gase train and the fact that his best receiver at any point at the time that he was in with the Jets was a young Robbie Anderson. I think he's going to be fine, and Carolina is doing everything they can to give them every chance to succeed. So looking through the class, that number 8, they took J.C. Horn. I think they overdrafted him personally. I thought Surtain was the number 1 corner, but J.C. Horn is still going to be a solid man cover corner. He's got that dog mentality. He's going to get up in somebody's body, and Carolina needed a corner, looking at their depth chart. Round 2, pick 59, Terrace Marshall Jr. This has the potential to be the DK Metcalf of this draft. Terrace Marshall is an absolute monster of a human being. He has all the measurables. He runs. He scores touchdowns. Comes from a high-profile offense. And remember, who was his offensive coordinator in college? Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Panthers. So I think that was a great pick in the 2nd round. And then you look at their later picks. Brady Christensen in the 3rd. He could easily be a left tackle out of BYU. Chuba Hubbard in the 4th. He's going to make if he plays the way he played in college, that's going to be a dynamic 1-2 punch. Davion Nixon in the 5th, to me, was the best pick of the entire draft because Davion Nixon had 1st-round grades on a lot of different big boards. Bleacher Report actually had him ranked as the 11th best prospect in this draft, and they got him 158 overall. And then you're looking through the rest of their 6 rounds. Deontay Brown is a monster of a man at guard. Shi Smith is a nice little shifty wide receiver. They drafted a long snapper, which to me is an automatic win because anybody that's willing to draft a long snapper clearly has confidence. And then Phil Hoskins out of Kentucky, not a bad pick in the 7th round. So I'm going with Carolina due to quality and quantity.
See, the problem with going last on the show is that everyone has said everything, especially when you agree. I actually chose the Chicago Bears too. You look at they replaced Mitchell Trubisky with Justin Fields. DeAndre already raved about how good Justin Fields is, and you said I actually believe Justin Fields will end up being the best pick in this draft. Look at what he did in 2019. He had a 41-3 touchdown interception ratio. He's an absolute baller. 20-2 as a starter at Ohio State. And you look at the offensive lineman they did pick up. Tevin Jenkins absolutely mauls defensive linemen on the edge. Like it's a crime what he does out there. And you mentioned the Carolina Panthers got Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard was behind the offensive line led by Tevin Jenkins when he had those rushing yards when he went over 2,000 yards. And Larry Borum, according to Pro Football Focus, only allowed 1 sack in the whole entire 2020 season. He plays in the SEC, so I think that says it all. And then you look at who they replaced Kyle Fuller with. They go out in Oregon to get Thomas Graham. He has good ball skills. He broke up 32 passes, had 8 interceptions. And the thing with the Bears is they've always had a defense. They have Roquan, they have Khalil Mack, they have Eddie Jackson, they have Akeem Hicks. They can get 4 or 5 stops. They can get you stops, but they haven't been able to score. And so when you mix in Justin Fields with guys on the outside like Allen Robinson, and you got Tariq Cohen running behind the offensive line, you give the Bears a chance in a league that's so offensively dominated. And then in a division where you don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there, Kirk Cousins is still the starter in Minnesota, and you got Jared Goff in Detroit, the Bears are in perfect position to take a claim of the NFC North with the draft picks they've acquired.
And the Panthers are in position to take care of the NFC South, or at least the second spot, because they're still the Buccaneers. But, the Falcons are the Falcons, and the Saints don't have Drew Brees anymore. So...
Real talk. I hear you.
And they also overdrafted an edge defender again, because it really worked well last time for them.
That same Bears team I'm talking about that needed a quarterback you guys lost to. It's fine.
I never said that we were better. We're the Falcons, man. We sideways. I'm just saying. Peyton Turner, 28. Ooh. Anyway, switching topics, moving over to the NBA. As Deandra said at the beginning of the show, the playoffs are right in front of us. We are right at the end of the season. And surprisingly, I can tell you right now, nobody in their right mind predicted this. The Los Angeles Lakers are in the 7th seed if the season were to end today. Ladies and gentlemen, Deandra, Cam, is there a chance the Lakers lose in the first round?
I'll take this one, Deandra. The answer is yes. As scary as it sounds, the answer is yes. You look at LeBron and AD, they've only played a little over 20 games together, and both really struggle to stay on the court. Even now, AD plays a game, and then you look at tonight, he's not playing. It's just LeBron playing. Which Lakers team are we going to see? And as far as the others, they haven't been that good. You look at Schroeder, he's been hurt. THT's been on and off. Montrezl Harrell's been on and off. These guys haven't played as a unit in I don't know how many games. It doesn't really look well. And the LeBron James teams in the past, they may have not all been constructed well, but one thing you did know about those teams was LeBron was healthy and the others were going to be able to shoot from the outside. We can't say this definitively about this Lakers team. And they only shoot 30% from 3. And I mean, it's Olay defense on the inside. If you have anyone who can get to the inside versus the Lakers, it's happening. People are scoring 43% of the time with the Lakers on inside on the Lakers. And as far as the acquisition of Andre Drummond, I mean, he's kind of like a lost piece out there. He plays great defense, but when it comes to the offense, he kind of just sits in the middle. And it doesn't clear up space for really anybody. And so they're trying to fix who's the better center, Marc Gasol or Andre Drummond. So it's really a mess out there. But do I think they'll win the play-in game? Yes, I think they'll be able to beat the Golden State Warriors at least one time in the 7th seed. But then they have to play the Phoenix Suns in the first round. I know Josh has been really high on the Jazz, but I could argue say the Phoenix Suns are probably the best team in the NBA right now. You see what Chris Paul, you see what D Book, you see what DeAndre Ayton doing. This is a complete team. They run deep, they defend well, they shoot the 3, they got the veteran. I'm not sure if LeBron James is able to make a playoff run like this and somehow get out of the West and win the finals. This will be the greatest playoff run in history. He would undoubtedly be the GOAT. And in those circumstances, I just don't think it'll happen. But no, I do think the Lakers could possibly lose in the first round this season.
I'm going to have to agree with every single thing that you said. I believe that the Lakers, they they are in trouble and they should have some concerns. Obviously, you talked about Anthony Davis. Like when he came back, he was playing better and better. He was getting better, but as you said, he's not playing. And also he gets injured at the most random times for the most random reasons. Then you have LeBron, of course, with the ankle injury, and his injury that he got, that is an injury that takes 6 months to get back to 100%. So even if he comes back and he's able to play, he will be playing through discomfort and he will be playing through pain. And is that something that you really want to risk with LeBron, especially at his age? Do you want it to get worse? Then you think about Schroeder, with he's been gone because of protocol, and I'm thinking about Montrezl Harrell, how we know how he gets when it's the playoffs. He just completely disappears off the grid. But as far as the seventh seed, like you said, Josh, assuming, and like you said, Cam, assuming they win the play-in, you won't be able to get the necessary rest, especially in the Lakers' case. They need that rest, and they won't be able to get that. And like you said, they will be going against a legit contender in the Suns. They're the second seed right now. They have been playing good all year. But let's just humor them a little bit. And even if they get past the Suns and they go to a game 6 or a game 7, they're going to be going against the Clippers. And in my opinion, that's where it stops right there. Like, let's just be real. The Clippers are looked down upon because obviously last year, the whole disappointment thing with blowing the lead and everything, but they have been playing good this year, but it's been overlooked. So in my opinion, that's where it stops. And even if you beat them, you're going to be so tired from your series with the Suns and the Clippers. You're going to have to play Utah or the Nuggets, and those are not easy outs. Those are not cakewalks. So if we think of this, okay, if LeBron comes back and he's 100% and he's healthy, which I don't think will happen, then fine. But if you're thinking realistically about this situation, if LeBron can't stick like he can or like he wants to, or he's like he can't really move around as fast, and he's like if he's like 0 to like I'd say 2 seconds slower than he usually is, then that could be the difference for other teams to come in and completely take over. And ultimately, you're asking LeBron to go from 0 to 100 in such a short span of time while recovering from an injury. So I just think all the odds are just stacked against him right now. And I think they can lose in the first round.
Man, Cam said it earlier, but it sucks going last on the show because I think we all have the same point of view. But I would say that my opinion, it's a lot more variable than based on where they end up. So the first thing I'll say is if they stay in the 7th seed, right, and if they go into the play-in, Cam will provide some pushback. I don't know if they can beat the Golden State Warriors in that play-in game for the simple fact of Steph Curry in a one-game playoff. The way he's been playing this year, I don't think I want to see him. He's been dropping 40.
Can I respond to you real quick? Just can I respond to you real quick?
You can respond to that. Go ahead.
Real quick. Okay, this is one game. LeBron and AD will be on the court in this game. I'm preferably assuming they can beat the Golden State Warriors one time. Because if it's not Steph, who else is reliable on that team?
You don't have anybody. It's
Nobody.
Yeah, this is one game. It's one game, and I'll tell you what. This year, Steph Curry might be the best player in the NBA right now.
If LeBron doesn't come back, maybe.
Even if LeBron comes back, I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying that it's a definite, but I'm saying I'm not 100% sure that the Lakers can beat the Warriors in a one-game playoff.
Josh, if I need one game, I'm picking LeBron over Steph any day of the week. And I don't know, man. I'm telling you right now, the Lakers don't win that game.
I'm saying right now, I think the Warriors have a shot. But if they win that and they end up in the 7th seed, right, they have to play the Suns. And as you talked about, the Suns are right now the hottest team in the NBA. They've got everything going on. They've got defense, offense, shooters, shot blockers, all this stuff. If they move up, because they still have a chance, they've got a few more games to play, and they don't play anybody particularly challenging on their remaining schedule. If they move up to the 6th seed and they take the Clippers, I got the Clippers all day long. The Clippers, right, have been one of the best offensive teams this year, and they have the defensive potential because they haven't been playing up to par. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have missed some games, but they both have been on one. Paul George, nobody's talking about how great Paul George has been. He's shooting 50-40. He's been on one. If they rise up to the 5 seed, however unlikely that might be, if they rise up to the 5 seed, that's the only way I really see them having a legitimate chance to advance past the first round, because the Nuggets, while they have played well despite missing Jamal Murray in a 7-game series, there's a chance that the Lakers can overcome the fact that they're playing basically a one-man show, considering that not only is Jamal Murray hurt, but Will Barton's hurt, Monty Morris is hurt, Aaron Gordon's been struggling, and he just got hurt. So they're kind of ravaged by injuries. But other than that, if LBJ gets healthy, I don't want to necessarily say that the Lakers aren't going to do anything, but I am going to say it's not looking good for the Lakers. But as Cam said, if LeBron finally, even if LeBron gets to the finals after this, he might be the GOAT. Just getting to the finals. If he wins the finals, that's going to be a whole separate conversation. But yeah, it's the Lakers have. I think they've been a victim of the shortened off season and the compressed schedule, but everybody's had to deal with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I think those playing games are going to be real fun to watch. Definitely some good stuff. But that is going to wrap up our episode today. Do you guys have anything to say?
I would like to pay respect to Russell Westbrook because I feel like it might be, I think it's a little unfair, but watching back, I can see why. I think there's a notion that I don't like Russell Westbrook and then I disrespect him a little too much. And I think I do kind of go a little too hard on him. Part of it is because he's just so great that when he's that good, you see like some of the negatives and you have to highlight it. It's the same thing we do with Giannis. But respect to Russell Westbrook for breaking a record so quickly in his career. And the dude's on a different plane of existence than, most NBA players.
Well, I second that, Josh. But also like the video, subscribe, send in your takes as well. We're still looking for those. So, and we'll respond to those as well. So, yeah.
We have one waiting in the wings, right? That we haven't responded to yet because it's like NBA draft type, but we'll get there. Don't worry.
But yeah, guys, we have a lot in store for you this summer. We're going to be doing vlogs, all of that. Hopefully we get to an Atlanta Hawks game. They might be all right this season. They might be all right. They'll be all right. I'm playing. The Hawks look good this season. So do the Braves. Hopefully we can get out there, show you guys a little bit more of what we're like personally. And that is going to wrap up our episode for today. It's been a good session of Takeover from the crib. And we're going to be out of here.
Yeah, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Park it right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a facing. When I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need